All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, back with a quick review for the TUF 30 episode 1, Road to the Rematch, Pena versus Nunes. First episode, I did get a chance to watch it on Tuesday, but I'm just getting around to doing my review now because I've been kind of busy. I know some people in the live stream said they really weren't going to check the show out. They weren't really interested, but for me, anything fight related, I'm going to watch it, especially like these documentaries and, tough house shows. Got to watch it because I like to delve into the minds of these fighters, and I like to see backstories. Like back in the day on NBC, there was a show called The Contender Series. Then it went to ESPN. It was a boxing show with Sylvester Stallone and Sugar Ray Leonard. And it was the same premise, fighters live together, eat together, train together, and they have to fight, right? But I just like that kind of premise because you put all those fighters together and you get to kind of hear their backstories on why they like to fight. They all come from different places, and I think that's a good way that casual fans can kind of understand why fighters like to do what they do. Same premise here with The Ultimate Fighter. That's why I like to watch these shows. But this first episode for TUF 30 definitely got me interested. There's definitely a lot of good stuff going on here. Of course, we got heavyweights, so we should be getting some more knockouts. Then we got the women's flyweight division over here, which, I'm interested in. These young flyweights coming in from Invicta and Bellator. They're trying to get into this growing division. So I'm definitely interested in these because, there's a lot of familiar faces here. And then, of course, you got Pena and Nunes. Not a lot of beef in this first episode, not a lot of tension yet, but it's growing. So, first thoughts, I'm definitely interested because we got a lot of stuff going on. Heavyweights, flyweights, the two coaches, their rivalry. Then we got a potential beef in the house between Muhammad Usman and this Stipe guy. He's already talking his trash. So there's a lot of that type of stuff going on. So we're going to have fights everywhere. There's going to be fights everywhere so far. And so far, in the first episode, they're doing a good job of building this thing up. I like that part when the producer, he just comes in and says, hey, make your last phone call because you're not talking to anybody in the outside world after this last phone call for 6 weeks. And I think that's a good way to kind of build up that tension. Like, it gets me hyped up because now you're thinking what these fighters, you're wondering what these fighters are thinking. Like, oh man, like, won't see my family, won't see my mom, won't see my wife, won't see my husband, won't see my son, daughter, whatever, for like 6 weeks. Now I got to go step out of my comfort zone and live in this house with complete strangers. All I know about them is seeing them in other fight camps, or I see them on TV fighting other people. Now I got to get to know them personally by living with them, and then I got to fight them. It kind of takes them completely out of their comfort zone because on the regular, when they fight a regular professional fight, you get to go home, you get to train with your team and go home in your personal life, and that's it, right? But now you got to train with new coaches, and you got to train alongside somebody you have to fight somewhere down the line, right? And you got to go home and see that person that might be lying in the bed next to you. You know what I mean? And you got to eat at the same table with them. Your food is in the same refrigerator as their food, as your enemy's food, or potential enemy. So there's a lot of that, that you have to kind of think about. Like for Usman and Stipe in there, like they have to see each other every day. They can't stand each other. There's beef going on right there. So that's one of the things I like about the show. Like, you really get to see how a fighter has to have discipline. Can they hold it in? Can they channel it for the fight? Can they save it for the fight? Or do they blow up and let it out? How's it going to go? So that's one of the things I do like about this first episode so far. That stuff is growing. That stuff between Usman and Stipe is growing. So, yeah, they did the whole team picking and everything. And, you get 4 heavyweights, 4 flyweights on each team. And Nunes, she has the Stipe guy on her team, and Pena has Usman. So I think we all know that they're going to match them up. That's pretty much going to happen. Then they also have Julianna Miller on Pena's team and Claire Lopez on Nunez's team because they fought before, in Invicta. So, they're probably going to match them up in a rematch as well. One of the things that stood out to me, though, was Chantel Coates, man. I was like, of course, they picked Chantel Coates last. I was like, oh, come on. Like, how'd she get picked last? I thought Chantel Coates was kind of like one of the highly respected fighters there. I know Helen Peralta is. I know she is because she's an Invicta veteran. But just looking at Chantel Coates, I know she doesn't have a great resume, like this huge resume. But, Pena said she was looking for resumes that weren't like 10-0 and 9-1. So I thought that Chantel Coates would have got picked earlier because, scored one of the fastest knockout in Invicta FC, and then she beat that other fighter that's hyped up in Combate, bounced back from a good win, and been working on her ground game and her well-roundedness ever since. But, it is what it is. Shout out to Chantel Coach. She's definitely one I'm going for in this flyweight division. So I definitely want to see her prove them wrong because, like she said, she was kind of pissed that Nunes didn't pick her, and she's going to prove Pena wrong for picking her last, right? So, yeah, I definitely want to see Chantel Coach do good. But as for the rest of the flyweights, there's some familiar faces there for me. Like I said, Helen Peralta, she's already kind of showing out in the house, already trying to get some tequila in her. She already been talking some trash. She's lined up to fight this Caitlin girl next. So we're going to see what kind of dog she brings out. There's, what's her name, Catherine Paprocki. She's in there. And then you have Hannah Guy. Hannah Guy, she handed Valerie Laredo her first loss in Bellator. And who else? Clara Lopez, Julianna Miller, Chantel Coates. I think that's I may be like missing one fighter there, right? I think I named a lot of them there. But yeah, those are the up-and-coming fighters. So yeah, flyweight division, they have to be on notice. They have to be on their P's and Q's. Those unranked fighters, they got to start working because these young ladies that are coming in from TUF House, they're gonna be trying to steal spots. So you got some promising Invicta veterans there. So yeah, the first episode we had Zach Palga and now Bartley fight, and it was a decent fight. It was a decent fight. It wasn't like a explosive one. I think that Palga, he was more of a cautious fighter here. Bartley also. They both landed some good shots. I think Palga, he landed some good body shots. Could have got now Bartley out of there. You could hear Pena screaming on the other side, telling him to go in there and finish it, which he needed to. No need to let this thing go. It just went 2 rounds though. It didn't go to a third round, so he did score a good, convincing win. But speaking of Pena yelling, I do want to talk about the coaching real quick. You definitely see 2 different styles of coaching here between Julianna Pena and Amanda Nunes. Julianna Pena is a little bit more like family oriented with her style. She's a little bit more tight knitted with the people she picks. As soon as she picks them, she feels a little bit like she's their mother. She's kind of connected to them. Like whatever they do affects her. So she wants to make sure that you're top notch, like you're a part of her. You represent her. So she's going to make sure that you're on your game. Right. She's that type of coach, I think. She's really hands on. She gets down. She's rolling. She's sparring with you. She's screaming her head off for you, vein popping out of her neck. And then you got Amanda Nunes on one side. You don't really hear as much. She's a little bit more technical. Like she gives away gems. She's in there. But, she's more of like hands on just as far as like showing you like this is what I do. Do it like this. You know what I mean? She seems that like that type of coach. Like this is what you got to do. This is how you do it. Do it this way and you'll get it, right? And I think that's a good thing too. But I think I prefer Pena's a little bit more because she's a little bit more hands-on. And I think she builds a bond with you. I think that makes you feel better about yourself. Like, hey, this person's got confidence in me, and with that confidence, I think you build a bond with that person more. I mean, with Nunez is good too. It's like the technical side, but it's more like, I guess, like, she's just showing you something A, B, C, and then you just kind of have to say, okay, if it works for her, it's going to work for me. That's the vibe I'm getting right off top. I mean, maybe it'll change a little bit in the later episodes, but so far, I think the way that Pena's kind of like rocking with her team, the way she says that, look, whenever they're under her, they're a family. I get that vibe that, she really does care about them. Especially when I heard the other coach, he was already talking about that jab. That already had me sold. He was like, if you don't have a good jab, your A is capped. You know what I mean? He was really letting them know that we working hard over here. Pena said that too, like, hey, we working hard on this side. Like, well, he said it too, you better have a good jab and you have a plan behind that jab. So, I'm looking at that technical stuff too. But yeah, Nunez, she seems like she's in there showing them something too. She's showing them how to kick, how to roll these punches. She's trying to perfect their craft as well. So I think they all mean well. I think Pena's just a little bit more hands-on with it. So yeah, man, final thoughts. I didn't want to be too long. First episode definitely reeled me in. Like I said, I just like to see different backstories. I just like to see fighters from different areas, and all come together, see how they interact in the house, and just knowing that they have to fight each other, like how they walk, just looking at them walk by each other, how they interact, and You know, can they, like I said, can they keep their cool, or will they blow up? That just kind of keeps me intrigued. I think that's what it's supposed to do, right? So yeah, eventually, you know, we'll see what Pena and Nunes, what they'll bring as far as trash talk. But yeah, so far I like what I'm seeing. You know, it's a good intro for the first episode. Definitely gonna check it out again. But like I said, shout out to Chantel Coates. You know, just because you pick last don't mean, hey, that you're the worst fighter out there. Definitely not. You know, definitely not. It just shows that they weren't doing their homework. But, you know, Chantel Coates, she definitely got a lot going for her. You know, just needs to work on her game some more. Go in there, prove them wrong, shut it down, shut them up, and win it all, right? Yeah. But, yeah, man, let me know, guys, if y'all watched it. Let me know what y'all thought. You're going to keep watching. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.